What's going on, traders? Andrew O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is June 23rd, 2021. Please go ahead and click the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content, and I will continue to make it for you. Really appreciate it. Really helps the channel, spread the word, all that good stuff. Today we're going to talk about the price action in the indices. We're going to go under the hood and check out our sectors and style factors, talk about some of my trades for the day, go through options order flow. Before we get into all that, quick risk disclaimer: nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan and your own risk parameters. And last but certainly not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. All right, let's jump right into it here and we'll go through today's price action. So for today, we had the S&P 500 close down. Literally, the market just crashed. We're down. The SPY ETF is down 0.12%. We had the NASDAQ close up 0.05%. We had the IWM small caps close up 0.33%. And we had the Dow Jones close down 0.2%. So if we look at this ES contract here, I talked about this in our pre-market webinar and also in our afternoon session as well, where we're pretty extended from this 5-day EMA. We had 2 awesome days of bullish price action. So at this point, it makes sense where we have some sort of consolidation or a little pullback. That way this 5-day EMA can start to catch up to price. But yeah, overall, we are still just consolidating in a range that we've been in for the past 3 weeks. And then if we pull up our NASDAQ, you can see here, finished up 0.1% as measured by this NQ future. And yeah, the NASDAQ is also getting pretty extended at this point, even from that 5-day EMA. But yeah, we're trading at new all-time highs. So yeah, nothing bearish about new all-time highs. If we go to our Russell here, you can see the Russell has been stuck range bound for the last 4 months. And we just continue to chop around within that range. Now you can see we're trading at about the middle of the range above that 20-day simple moving average. Flipping over to our Dow Jones, these dogs of the Dow, check this out. So we had this capitulation, awful oversold close, and then we had a nice bounce. But here you can see we're still just trying to hang on to this monthly value area. And really we're just hanging on by a small thread here. So I'd imagine if and when we get the next bout of market weakness, the Dow Jones might end up losing this monthly value area. The Dow Jones outperformed for, a good 6 or 7 months. And that's a lot of outperformance for the Dow Jones, which has companies, like the banks, the industrials, not exactly like the big shakers and movers of the world in that index. Let's take a look at our market breadth. You can see market breadth was negative on the day. This fluctuated throughout the session. I will say for the most part, it was positive throughout the day. Now it looks like into the close, came off a bit. So you can see we had the worst breadth in the Dow Jones, and we had the best breadth in the small caps. Moving over to our FinViz heat map, you can see that same exact thing that we were just talking about. Healthcare was very weak today. You can see utilities were weak as well, industrials. And yeah, there were a few bright spots within the S&P 500, but overall, I think a lot of the stocks that are doing very well now at this juncture are not in the S&P 500. And you'll see what I mean when we look at these sectors. So the ARC Innovation ETF was up 2.07% today. We had the TAN solar stocks up 2.05%. And you can see our laggards. We had GDX, the gold miners, down, KRE, regional banks, and you can see European financials were down as well. Yeah, overall, pretty mixed price action. And that brings us to our style factors. So there were certain style factors that worked and others that did not. So you can see this momentum style factor was up 0.75%. And you can see high beta was up as well. Really taking it on the chin today. We had international value down 0.69%. And we had our high div low vol down 0.61%. Flipping over to some of my trades for today, let's take a look. And I'm actually going to just take my screenshots here for you. And let's see. I have my options trades there. Now let's pull up my stock trades. Okay, there we go. Okay, so for stocks today, what did we do? So I got long some Tesla common shares in the morning for $642.74. That was pretty much right off the open. I saw pretty much right out of the gate, we had a lot of call buying in Tesla. And you can see Tesla actually finished up 5.27%, closed right around the highs, and you can see we're above this monthly value area. We're also above all those key moving averages now. I actually took Tesla for a day trade. I opened it up right on the open at 642.74, and I closed out later in the day at 651.20. So caught the majority of the move, but didn't really want to stick in Tesla for a swing trade, just in case, you know, a lot of these rallies in Tesla have been sold into. AVGO is a name that I put on a couple days ago. I closed it out for a perfect scratch right here. Just really was moving sideways. I saw a lot of other stocks that were doing like really really big moves. So I was like, I don't want to be in this stock that's really just kind of consolidating. I closed out my INMD common shares. I paid $93.83 for those. I closed that out for $93.60, and essentially a scratch. But it was really just, I also wanted to just take the money out of a stock that really wasn't doing all that much. And then I did get long some Triple D common shares for $37.56. So yeah, just doing a little bit of cleanup there. And then Triple D was one that I really wanted to take. So I got this one, got a nice entry on it, maybe when it was up about like 1.5 or 2%, closed up 3.17%. And this Triple D, had a really nice ignite bar right here. And now you can see we have this virgin point of control up ahead of us at 44.04. So yeah, Triple D looking pretty good there. Let's take a look at what I did on the options front. So I got long some Penn October 15th 80 strike calls. And this really what I'm playing for this trade is a run into the earnings print, which is going to occur in July. Penn just jumped back into this monthly value area today. So I want to see if we can hold value. This could be a good trade to maybe this point of control or even the value area high up here at 84.55. Other options trade that I took today was getting long Fisker. So I got long Fisker August 20th, 17.5 strike calls for $3.21. This Fisker is looking very solid. So Penn is kind of like, a bounce trade. Fisker, this one looks like it's ready to zoom off to the races here. So this is a really nice technical setup. This is like one of my favorites here, where you consolidate and then you rip to the upper end of the range. We have a VPOC ahead of us at $22.92, and we have very high short interest on this stock. Let's check this out. Short interest is 28.44%, kind of crazy. And the float is actually very small. It's only 157 million shares. So we'll see. I actually heard, a rumor today that this could be, like another meme stock. It's not exactly like what I'm banking on, because I do like the technical setup here. But yeah, if it does happen to become a meme stock, I certainly would not complain, for sure. So yeah, Fisker definitely looking pretty interesting here. Let's jump into our options order flow. Let's see what we got. So this is our VigTech options matrix here. And yeah, somebody asked me earlier, it was Zane. So shout out to Zane if you're watching this. Really appreciate you, man. You've been interacting with me, really since the beginning. You asked me earlier, how I like this VigTech platform, if it's a little different than Cheddarflow. And yeah, it definitely is. So like I said when I messaged you earlier, the data set is just far superior to Cheddarflow. Like, I was a big Cheddarflow guy. I really liked Cheddarflow. I had an affiliate agreement with them, like the whole thing. But I just wanted to give these guys a shot. And their platform is just better. Like, the data set is more complete. Like, to be honest, when I started comparing them side by side, I was like, geez, like I had no idea that I was missing out on a lot of the data that's really coming down the pipe. So like you'll notice that if you even do the trial of the VigTech options matrix, you're going to notice it right away. There's going to be so much more options flow that you weren't really seeing before. So yeah, that's to me like the main draw. Like you just see the bigger picture. But yeah, let's jump over here. That's like my pitch for VigTech. Yeah, and I really like VigTech. One of the founders, Jonathan, really straight shooter. I got the chance to meet with him. And yeah, he's just like a very straight shooter, nice guy, and yeah, he's got a really nice platform here. It's also cheaper than Cheddarflow as well. So it's like, how can I really say no to that if it's better product, cheaper price, and then I actually know the founder or one of the founders and they're just very straight shooters and cool people. So yeah, for me, I like these guys. So let's jump in here and take a look. I see, from what I'm seeing here, we got this Amazon flow. I actually have an Amazon call spread on right now. Let's see if Amazon is doing anything noteworthy here. Amazon, I believe, closed red. Yeah, closed down 0.05%. Not bad at all. We're really just consolidating around those highs. And I'm looking for a push here. The other one I'm looking for a push in is SE. Come on. All we need is that little push to new highs here. So we'll see if we get it. Let's jump back a level. NVIDIA, of course, we're seeing a lot of flow there. And then I see a lot of these FANG names like Facebook, Google. SoFi is an interesting one. Let's pull up SoFi. There's been call flow for SoFi. And it's been around, since this thing was IPOE. Now you can see we're sort of trading at the lower end of this recent range. And let's see what call flow came in, actually. So these are for July, the 10 strikes. July 12.5s. July 15s. July 7, or this is January 2022, the 7.5s. So it looks like these are just, some position trades here. Where they're going with the really deep in the money options. But yeah, SoFi definitely looks interesting to me just because we've been range bound. We're at the lower end of this range. That about does it for our options order flow. And that about does it for this market recap video. Hope you all had an awesome trading day, and I will see you all tomorrow.